Albina Ruiz has started dozens of garbage companies in the towns and villages of Peru, with dozens more to come. She's pieced together a patchwork quilt of grants, consulting fees, and revenues from recycling, and makes it all work. Within 3 years, all of her businesses are self-supporting. It's a model now being replicated throughout all of South America. 2,000 miles away, in the slums of Rio de Janeiro, another woman is applying a similar strategy, this time to the plight of women from the city's worst slum. From the shanty towns of Rio to the fashion runways of Milan, she has turned a country craft into haute couture.
Beaches, boutiques, and beautiful people. Rio de Janeiro looks like paradise. But in the hills above the city, the reality is very different. 1/3 of Rio's population lives in favelas, the slums of the city. The largest favela, Rocinha, is home to almost 200,000 people. Rocinha is populated mostly by migrants, families that have arrived from the rural north, the poorest area of Brazil, in hope of finding work. What they find instead is unemployment, crime, and neighborhoods controlled by drug traffickers.
Anderson, onde você estava?
Marta Elita Pinto moved from the north and now lives in a small cinder-block home with her husband and 5 children.
Aqui na Rocinha, se você vê alguém precisando de remédio ou de alimento que não tem, você vai na casa do vizinho, você consegue. Ou se a pessoa ajuda sem pedir também. Deixa eu feijão preto para você. Mas que tem algumas coisas que não são muito boas, né? Como nossa vala, por exemplo. E problemas nós temos bastante. E lance das pessoas que têm ao lado do movimento, né? E que nós tentamos prevenir os nossos filhos para não frequentar esse tipo de lugar.
Like most slums in Brazil, Rocinha is controlled by drug traffickers. A few days ago, a local drug lord escaped from prison. He has now returned to reclaim his territory in Rocinha and get even with some old enemies. In response, heavily armed police have moved into the neighborhood to stop him. One of the reasons the drug trade takes hold in favelas is the high levels of unemployment. In Rocinha alone, the unemployment rate is 20%. One woman is trying to turn this around.
Most of the people in the city don't visit or work or do anything in these communities. I have been coming to Rocinha since 1981.
Teresa Leal grew up in a well-to-do neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro. Like most of her friends and neighbors, she had never been to a favela. It was as a student that she first became aware of life in Rocinha. As she spent more time there, Tete noticed that the local women had a special talent for sewing and handicraft.
Desculpa, gente.
It wasn't long before Tete had a business idea, a cooperative where she could harness the talent of these women and help them earn a decent living. She called it Copa Roca.
Copa Roca started in 1987. It's a cooperative of seamstresses. These women, They have this knowledge to work very well with handcraft.
Todo mundo pergunta se eu fui atrás, fui, eu só saio pro sol.
We pay by the piece. So the women make more money than if they were working in the market.
Today, Copahoca employs 150 women, making elegant, hand-sewn pieces. Tete markets these garments to haute couture designers across Latin America and Europe.
Showing the work is really important. The next fashion show of Copahoca is in São Paulo Fashion Week, the biggest fashion event in Brazil.
Now, Tete, Marta, and the other women of Copahoca are embarking on one of their biggest challenges yet, to create 75 pieces for a fashion runway show in Sao Paulo. They only have 5 weeks to do it.
For this fashion show, we are working with a professional fashion designer, and we are making all the clothes.
There are now just a few days left, and only half of the clothes are done.
É muita coisa para fazer.
É muita
não
coisa,
dá.
não dá mesmo.
É muita coisa. Agora que eu
Se fosse na máquina, sim. Aí
São 4 desse aí. Aquele ali foi.
muita maldade.
Ela passou 6 dias para fazer do crochê.
Tá com medo?
de não dá. Mas eu vou peço ajuda para a Luísa. A minha filha faz também. E o ponto dá certo.
Porque se você consegue 3 amigas para fazer, a única coisa que tem que controlar para garantir que o ponto vai ser igual.
Ah, tá. Você tá vendo alguma diferença aqui no ponto?
Não.
Tá aqui o ponto.
A minha filha ajudou. Essa última carreira aqui foi ela que fez.
Então pronto.
Né?
Mas a tua filha veio de dentro da sua barriga, então ela tem a mesma mãozinha que você.
E ela já teve aula aqui e tudo,
e as
tá?
2 outras amigas não.
Então tá, eu vou tentar.
Então eu vim trabalhar para a Copa Rock porque eu sabia que aqui oferecia o trabalho para as artesãs. Trabalhar em casa, essa oportunidade que eu acho assim maravilhosa, né? Da TT. Ela que corre atrás do trabalho pra gente. Então, ela que procura as lojas, essas grandes empresas e traz o trabalho aqui para a Copa Rock. O que eu faço com a renda daqui, eu tenho 5 filhos, então acaba saindo muito caro.
Like Marta, most of the women in the co-op do their work at home. It was important for Tete to enable them to stay with their children, while also contributing to the family income.
Eu comecei a costurar com 8 anos de idade. Minha mãe costura também. Minhas tias, tudinho. Eu acho que vem da família mesmo. Eu estou na Copa Rock tem 5 anos já. E eu não penso em sair de lá para lugar nenhum, para trabalho nenhum.
Sua mãe?
Ó, eu espero da minha filha que ela esteja a chance, a oportunidade de um dia ela estar no meu lugar, porque hoje eu sou diretora técnica de lá. Então gostaria que amanhã do tempo ela esteja com a minha idade e possa estar fazendo o meu serviço.
8 horas então, Simar.
8 horas, isso quer dizer que chega em São Paulo 6 horas. Quantas horas são? 3 horas.
2 days now until the show. The women must leave early the next morning for Sao Paulo if they are to make it on time.
Lava de noite já. Lava de noite no domingo.
Essa é daquelas que vai chegar atrasada que tá reclamando, tá achando certo.
But the work is still not done. In the last-minute scramble, Tete makes a final check on the quality of the pieces.
Muito bem.
This piece is finished, but many pieces still need work. It's going to be close. Suddenly, gunfire erupts in the street outside.
There is a group who wants to be again here, to have again the power. And the group who has already the power don't want to leave it. So they are fighting. And the police also is here. It's crazy because we are here working, making the fashion show, and outside in the streets, in the community, there is a kind of a war, you see, and we are here working. Of course, we don't feel comfortable, but at the same time, we need to focus on the fashion show, because if we don't work, no fashion show, and time is going on, so.
Primeiro que a gente quase não consegue dormir com medo de perder a hora, né? Porque se a gente perde a hora, perde o ônibus, perde a viagem.
Eu tô orgulhosa porque eu sempre participei dos desfiles, mas nunca tive a oportunidade de ir ver. E hoje eu tô indo pra ver. Primeira vez que eu tô indo pra ver.
Que isso, eu não tenho condição de viajar. Ninguém vai aqui, tá pra aí. Eu vou pegar tentar aqui, ó.
The women are working, finishing some little details. Doesn't make any sense if just I, Tete, come to make the fashion show, because the artisans they are Copa-Haka. They feel very proud, they feel very excited, and this also changed themselves, and it's also part of the process of Copa-Haka in their own lives. And for the fashion people, they also feel very touched by the women to be on the backstage, and the models, they are from a very different world, you see. So to have this moment where those people are together is something very good for everybody.
It's a world the women of Copa-Haka have only seen in magazines. Tete is determined to get good press coverage. She knows that exposure here can mean new contracts for the cooperative.
A gente fez a calça pela peça, né, pro tamanho normal. Aí eles tiveram que botar uma faixa enorme embaixo porque não deu a altura dela.
As duas fitias da calça. Essa é do vestido.
Aqui, tesourinha. Cadê a tesourinha?
Tesoura.
Poxa, essa é tesourona, vai.
É só cortar.
Dá grande. Isso, faz grande que tá nos final. Vai começar. Apaga esse celular, gente, pelo amor de Deus. Não, vai arrumando até a hora de entrar.
Making our work, we will be promoting lots of women in Brazil to believe that they have the capacity to work and to improve their lives. So we are promoting a movement, much more than a job.
Ela solta, todo mundo andando pelo meio da fila. Isso é só para organizar. Ó, atenção, hein? Atenção. Ó, depois delas vai até... Fala logo então, vai. Só por entre as fitas. Gostei do decote, Lulu. Rap. Tchau. Ai, acabou.
Consumers are really interested to wear something that is promoting a better life for the person who made it. So If we can build this different way to make fashion, we will be promoting new values.
From the shantytowns of Rio to the fashion runways of Milan, she has turned a country craft into haute couture.
Beaches, boutiques, and beautiful people.
Albina Ruiz has started dozens of garbage companies in the towns and villages of Peru, with dozens more to come. She's pieced together a patchwork quilt of grants, consulting fees, and revenue.
The largest favela, Rocinha, is home to almost 200,000 people. Rocinha is populated mostly by migrants, families that have arrived from the rural north, the poorest area of Brazil, in hope of finding work. What they find instead is unemployment, crime, and neighborhoods control. Rio de Janeiro looks like paradise. But in the hills above the city, the reality is very different. 1/3 of Rio's population lives in favelas, the slums of the city.
Revenues from recycling and makes it all work. Within 3 years, all of her businesses are self-supporting. It's a model now being replicated throughout all of South America. 2,000 miles away, in the slums of Rio de Janeiro, another woman is applying a similar strategy, this time to the plight of women from the city's worst slum.